In the far corner of the galaxy, there was a market like no other. A place full of lights, strange voices, and smells that made even the strongest alien dizzy. It was called the Market of Stars. No stars were sold there. But people were humans. Were rare now. Earth was long gone, burned, broken, forgotten. Most people didn't even remember the name. But the market remembered. And in the center of it, inside a dirty cage, stood a little human girl named Ellie. She was just 9 years old. Her hair was dusty. Her small hands held tight to the hand of a woman beside her, her mother. The mother was silent. Her eyes tired. Her face showed no fear, but also no hope. They had been on sale for 5 days. Every alien passed by. Some looked at the mother, some poked Ellie's arm. But no one made an offer until Ellie shouted something. "Please make an offer for my mom. She cook you delicious meals, the best in the galaxy." Her voice echoed. Traders turned their heads. Some laughed. Others ignored her, but one person stopped, a tall man in a long black coat. His face was hidden in shadows, though the lights of the market shone bright above. His boots were heavy and his steps made the ground shake. His eyes were glowing blue. Not like normal lights, but like cold stars. He looked at Ellie. "Your mother can cook?" he asked in a low, rough voice. Ellie nodded fast. "Yes." She made food on Earth, real food. Not printed, not fake. She can make anything. The man didn't speak. He just turned to the trader beside the cage and raised one hand. In his palm were 3 red coins. The trader's eyes widened. Red coins were not normal money. They were ancient credits, powerful, forbidden, and very rare. "Is this a joke?" the trader asked, afraid. "No," the man said. "I want the mother and the girl, both." The trader looked nervous. "We're not allowed to sell both together. Rules are clear. Adults go to work zones. Children go to the mines." "I don't follow rules," the man replied coldly. "I follow needs." The trader gulped. The other aliens stepped back. Whispers moved like smoke through the market. "Is that the Star Hunter?" "No, he disappeared years ago. Those eyes. They say he killed 10 warlords." Ellie didn't know who he was, but she saw his eyes and somehow she felt safe. "Please," she said softly, "we just want to go. My mom doesn't talk much anymore. But if you give her a kitchen, she'll show you everything." The man didn't smile, but he lowered the cage door himself and stepped inside. No one stopped him. He picked up the mother gently. She didn't resist. He held out his hand to Ellie. "Come," he said. Ellie followed. She didn't even look back at the cage. As they walked through the market, aliens moved out of the way. The glowing lights above turned dark for a second. Like the sky was afraid of the man, they reached his ship, a black, quiet thing that looked like a ghost. No name, no number, no flag. Inside, the air was cold. The lights were soft. Everything was clean and empty. The mother sat down slowly in the corner. She looked around, still silent. The man walked to a console and pressed a button. "Kitchen is ready," he said. "You may cook." The mother didn't move. "She needs time." Ellie said, "We've been trapped for a long time." The man turned. For the first time, he sat down across from them. "I'm called Darrow," he said. "I used to hunt. I used to destroy. Now I'm trying something new." Ellie looked at him. "Why did you help us?" He didn't answer. Instead, he opened a small box and took out a tiny blue stone. He placed it on the table. "This," he said, "is the last piece of Earth I own. A stone from a river." I forgot what the river was called, but I remember the food near it, warm bread. Something called tea. I want to feel that again. Ellie smiled a little. "She can make tea." Darrow closed his eyes. "Then she will stay. And so will you, but there are rules." Ellie's smile faded. "No opening the back door. No touching the red cabinet, and no lies." The ship jumped into a hyperdash speed. Outside, the stars stretched like lines. Inside, a girl and her mother sat quietly. Finally off the market floor. But deep in the ship, behind a locked red door, something else moved. It made no sound, but it was very much awake. The ship moved silently through space. Stars blinked in the distance, but inside, everything was Quiet. The only sound was the soft hum of power running through the walls. Ellie sat on a bench near the kitchen, swinging her legs slowly. Her mom stood at the small stove, boiling water. The air smelled different, clean, warm, like something good was coming. The man in black stood at the window, staring out. His name was Darrow, but that was all Ellie knew. He had not told them much, he barely spoke. But he had saved them from the market of stars. That was enough. For now, do you want tea? Ellie asked him. Darrow didn't turn around. Is it Earth style? Ellie smiled. Real leaves. Not printed. Darrow was quiet for a moment. Then he nodded. Her mom poured the tea into 3 cups. The cups didn't match. One was metal, one was glass. One was made from some alien stone. Darrow chose the stone cup and sat down. He didn't drink right away. He just looked at the tea, watching the steam rise. Do you live alone? Ellie asked him. Darrow nodded. Yes. For how long? Too long. Ellie waited. But he said nothing more. Her mom finally spoke softly. Why did you save us? Darrow looked up. His eyes were not normal eyes. They had no whites, no pupils, just soft blue light. But they still felt human. I don't like cages, he said. Ellie tilted her head. But you used to be a hunter, right? Darrow leaned back. Yes, I was born for it, built for it. Built? Darrow took a slow sip of tea. My bones are metal, he said. My blood is not red. My heart runs on energy cells. I was made in a lab during the War of 9 Suns. My job was simple: find, kill, and repeat. Ellie stared. But you look human. I was made to look like what people trusted most. Darrow said, it helped me get close. But over time, I started to feel something else, her mom whispered. Guilt? Darrow shook his head. Hunger, for more than killing. He stood and walked to the wall. He pressed his hand on a panel, and it slid open. Behind it was a shelf. On that shelf were books, real paper books, some broken, some burned. A few had Earth languages on them. One had a picture of a kitchen on the cover. I collect memories, Darrow said, because I lost my own. Do you remember Earth? Ellie asked. Only in pieces, he replied. A smell, a song, a plate of food, that's all I have left. Ellie walked over to the shelf and touched one of the books. It was called Recipes from the Riverlands. My mom had this, she said. Before they took us. Darrow looked at the mother. And then she can help me remember. Her mother's eyes narrowed. And what do we get? Darrow's voice was calm. Safety, warm beds, food that no guard will steal. And no more cages. It was a good offer. Too good, her mom spoke firmly. If you hurt her, I will poison your tea. Darrow didn't smile, but he nodded once. Understood. That night, Ellie lay in a small bed under a blanket made from silver thread. It was soft and light. She stared at the ceiling, full of blinking lights that looked like stars. Then she heard something, a soft knock. Not at her door, but far down the hallway. A slow, steady tapping. She got up, careful not to wake her mom. She walked barefoot down. The dark hall. The knock was coming from behind the red door. The one Darrow had told them not to touch. The light above the door blinked. The knock stopped. Then a voice spoke, not Darrow's voice, a small, shaky whisper. Help me? Please. Ellie froze. Who's there? She asked quietly. Don't. Leave me here, he lied. He's not saving you. Ellie stepped back. Then Darrow's voice came through the speaker above her. Return to your bed. She looked up. The hallway was empty. But his voice was everywhere. I told you not to. Approach the red door. Ellie whispered, There's someone inside? No one living, Darrow replied. Ellie stared at the door, heart pounding. Go, he said. Now, she ran back, slid into bed. Pulled the blanket over her head. In the kitchen, Darrow stood alone. He looked at the teacup Ellie's mother had used. Then he looked toward the red door, eyes glowing brighter. He whispered to himself, Not yet. He pressed a button. Behind the red door, all lights went dark. Whatever had spoken went silent, but in the dark, something still moved. The next morning, the ship moved slowly through a glowing nebula. Purple clouds drifted past the windows, and lightning cracked silently in the distance. The ship made no noise, as if it was holding its breath. Inside, Ellie sat at the table with her mother, eating warm bread and some kind of alien fruit. It tasted like apples, but smelled like mint. Darrow stood by the window, as usual, quiet and still. Ellie's mother watched him carefully. She didn't trust silence, not anymore. "You said you used to be a hunter," she said. Darrow turned slightly, but didn't speak. "So why are we really here?" she asked. "What do you want from us?" Darrow walked over to the table and placed a small black box in front of her. "I need your help," he said. "With what?" "Memory." The box clicked open. Inside were photos. Real printed photos, old and faded. Some showed Earth, others showed faces humans Ellie didn't recognize. But one photo made her mother freeze. It was a picture of her, holding a baby in a garden. Ellie leaned closer. "Is that me?" Her mom nodded slowly. "This was before the fall." Darrow sat across from them. "I found that photo in the ruins of a human outpost on Veganine. There were no survivors. But this felt important." "Why?" her mother asked. "Because I saw myself in the background," Darrow said. Watching from the shadows, Ellie blinked. "So, you were there?" "I don't remember," Darrow replied. "I don't know why I was watching. Or what I did next. That's the hole I want to fill." Her mother's voice turned cold. "You think I'll help you unlock your past?" "Yes, and what if you were the one who caused the attack?" Darrow didn't blink. "Then I'll know what I must fix?" There was a silence in the room. The ship hummed gently. Outside, lightning flashed again. Ellie looked at Darrow. "Do you feel anything when you see that picture?" Darrow paused. "I feel a promise," he said. "A promise I forgot. But I think I made it long ago." Her mother narrowed her eyes. "What kind of promise?" "I don't know. That's why I need you here." "You remember Earth? You remember—" "Family. I need to see the world through your eyes." Ellie spoke softly. "What if we help you? And you don't like what you find?" Darrow looked at her, his voice low. "Then I'll face it. I am not afraid of the truth. I'm only afraid of forgetting it forever." Her mother stared at the photo again. Her hands were shaking slightly. She took a deep breath and nodded once. "I'll help," she said. "But I want something back." "What?" "A real life for my daughter. Not just safety, a future." Darrow stood. "Done, I give you my word." Her mom narrowed her eyes. "A word from a machine?" "Not a machine," Darrow said. "Not anymore." He walked away, leaving the photo box behind. Later, Ellie found herself exploring the ship. It was bigger than she had guessed. Some halls led to control rooms, others to storage. Everything was clean and quiet except for one place, the hallway. Near the red door, Ellie didn't go near it. Not after last night, but she did hear something again. Not a voice, not knocking, just breathing. Fast, shallow breathing. She ran back that evening. Darrow returned with a plate of raw ingredients, alien vegetables, colorful powders, things that looked like spices. Her mother took one look and smiled for the first time in weeks. "I can work with this," she said. She cooked in silence, but Ellie saw it. Her mom looked alive again. Her hands moved like they remembered joy. When the food was ready, Darrow sat down and took a bite. He closed his eyes. "This," he whispered. "This is what I remember. Warm, soft, home." Ellie smiled. Then Darrow opened his eyes. "Thank you." Ellie's mom looked surprised. "You're welcome." He stood and walked to a drawer. From it, he pulled out a small silver pendant. It was shaped like Earth. "I want you to have this," he said, giving it to Ellie. She held it carefully. It felt warm, familiar. "What is it?" she asked. "A key," he said, "to something I locked away a long time ago." Ellie looked up. "Locked where?" Darrow didn't answer. That night, as the ship drifted past forgotten stars, Ellie lay in bed staring at the pendant. It had tiny letters carved on the back, "To remember who we were." She held it close and whispered, "We'll help you. Just don't lie to us." In another part of the ship, Darrow stood in front of the red door. He placed his hand on it. Inside, sensors showed movement, shadows, whispers. Darrow spoke quietly. "I Made a promise once. I'm going to keep it. Even if it kills me. He turned and walked away, behind the red door. The breathing grew louder. Something was waking up, something that remembered him better. Then he remembered himself. Asterisk, the ship floated. Through deep space, far from any star, like a ghost. The darkness outside felt endless. Inside, it was warm, but something didn't feel right. Ellie couldn't sleep. She sat up in her bed, clutching the silver earth-shaped pendant Darrow had given her. It glowed faintly in the dark, like it was trying to remind her of something safe, something lost. But the glow wasn't enough to calm her, because that sound was back again, breathing, soft, raspy, close. She slipped out of bed quietly. Her mom was fast asleep. The hallway outside was dim, lit by pulsing blue lights on the walls. Each step she took echoed just a little too loud. Ellie walked slowly toward the place. She had promised never to go. The red door. It stood tall at the end of a narrow corridor, blinking softly like it was watching her. She shouldn't be here, but she had. Questions Darrow wouldn't answer. She stopped in front of it. Then the pendant in her hand grew warmer. She looked down. The little globe had shifted. A hidden piece had popped out, a tiny key. Her heart raced. Without thinking, she reached up to the door's control panel. There was a slot there, small and silver. She slid the key in. The door made no sound. It just opened. Cool air rushed out. Inside was darkness and shapes. At first, she couldn't see clearly. Then the lights flickered on, and what she saw made her knees shake. Tanks. Rows of glowing tanks, filled with green liquid. Inside them floated people, or what used to be people. They looked human, but their eyes were gone. Their skin was pale, and wires ran into their necks, arms, and chests. Some were still, some twitched. One turned its head slowly and stared at her with black, empty sockets. She gasped and stepped back. The figure pressed its hand on the glass. "Don't be afraid," it whispered. Ellie froze. The voice came through a speaker above. It was weak, but real. "You're not like him," it said. "Who are you?" Ellie asked. "We were like you. Saved, then kept, then studied." Ellie's breath caught. "By Darrow?" "Yes. No. He saved us," she whispered. "He saves many," the voice said. "But he forgets. Each time, then he begins again." The lights flickered. Another tank lit up. This one held a girl. Same age as Ellie. Same hair. Same face. Ellie stumbled back. That's me." "No," said the voice. "That was the first one." Ellie shook her head. "No, that's not possible. Darrow doesn't lie, but he forgets. His memory resets. He builds new stories, new hopes, over and over. You're not the first. You may not be the last." The girl in the tank opened her eyes. They were bright blue, just like Darrow's. Ellie screamed. Suddenly, the red door slammed shut behind her. The room shook. And Darrow's voice filled the chamber. "Ellie!" "You weren't supposed to see this?" She turned, heart pounding. "Why? What is this place?" "I didn't want this memory," he said. "Are these people real? Are they alive?" "They were," Darrow said. "I tried to save them, but I failed, so I stored them here. So I wouldn't forget." "But you did forget." "Yes," he whispered. "I always do. It's part of how I was made. To forget pain, to keep going. But now I remember too much." Ellie backed against the wall. "You lied to us." "I didn't mean to," Darrow said. "I wanted this time to be different." The tank with the other Ellie cracked slightly. A hiss of pressure escaped. Then the tank opened. The girl stepped out. She was cold. Her movements were stiff, but she looked exactly like Ellie. Darrow entered the room slowly. His coat flowed behind him. He looked at both girls. There was one version, he said, who stayed, who chose not to run. She helped me until she died. I tried to bring her back. I tried again and again, but it never worked. The other girl stared at him. "You made copies of her." Darrow nodded. "I wasn't trying to be a monster," he said. "I just wanted to keep my promise." Ellie stepped forward. "What promise?" Darrow looked at the pendant in her hand. To protect her, forever, even after death. Ellie shook her head. That's not protection, that's control. Darrow's voice broke. I'm sorry. The other Ellie looked at the real one. You should go, before he starts over. Ellie grabbed her hand. Come with us. I can't, the girl said. I'm not stable. I won't last. Then she smiled. But you still can. You can stop him from doing this again. Ellie turned to Darrow. End it. Shut this place down, no more secrets, no more red doors. Darrow stared at her. Then slowly he nodded. I promise, he said again. One last time, the lights in the tanks dimmed. The systems powered down. One by one, the shadows faded. Ellie and her mother left the room in silence. Darrow followed Dot behind them. The red door closed. This time it locked from the inside. The ship was quiet again. The red door was locked. The tanks were powered down. But inside Ellie's heart, the noise had only just begun. She sat at the table, arms crossed, eyes watching the empty hallway where Darrow had disappeared hours ago. Her mother stood at the sink, hands shaking slightly as she cleaned a plate that wasn't even dirty. No one had spoken since they left the room of shadows. Ellie finally broke the silence. Did you know? She asked. Her mother looked up. No. You believed him too? I wanted to believe something, her mom said softly. After all we've lost, hope becomes dangerous. Ellie clenched her fists. I was just another try. Another test. A backup version. No, her mom said. You're you. You're real. You're here. That's what matters now. But he lied. Her mother nodded. Yes, he did. Just then, footsteps echoed in the hall. Slow, heavy, Darrow appeared. In the doorway, his coat darker than ever. His eyes dimmer now. Not glowing. Just tired. He didn't sit. He didn't speak until Ellie stood up and faced him. You were trying to build me, weren't you? She said, trying to rebuild someone who already died? Darrow nodded. Yes, Ellie stepped closer. How many of us were there? 6, he said quietly. You're the 7th. Her knees almost gave out. Her mother caught her, holding her close. Darrow looked at both of them. But you're different. Ellie snapped. Because I'm not broken. Yet? No, Darrow said, because you're not built. You're not made in a lab. You're the real one. Silence fell. Her mother asked. What do you mean? Darrow stepped forward and placed something on the table. A small digital file projected. In blue light, it showed a birth record, Ellie's name, her mother's name. A location, Earth, Sector 9, Garden Block 14. She was lost during the fall, Darrow said. Taken by raiders, sold. I found her years later, but by then she was gone. He looked at Ellie. I used her DNA to build copies. But none of them were her, Ellie whispered. And now you think I'm her? Darrow nodded. I didn't know at first. But when I gave you the pendant and it opened the door, I knew. Only the real one could unlock that. Her mother stared in shock. You're saying she's not a clone? She's the original, Darrow said. The girl I couldn't save the first time. Ellie stepped back. But I don't remember you. You were too young. And now you want to keep me here? She asked. So you don't lose me again? No, Darrow said. Now I just want to do what I should have done before. Her mom stepped in front of Ellie. Which is what, Darrow? He looked her in the eyes. Let her go. The ship shifted. Changing course, Darrow walked to the console and tapped a few keys. A planet appeared on the screen. Green, small, safe. New Terra, he said. A free zone. No traders. No hunters. No war. Ellie stared at the screen. You'll drop us. There? Yes, Darrow said. You'll be free. Her mother narrowed her eyes. Why now? Because I made a promise, Darrow said. And this time I'll keep it without breaking anything. He turned to leave, but Ellie stopped him. Wait. Darrow paused. Ellie walked up to him slowly. Her eyes were full of something strange. Yes. But also understanding. You can come with us, she said. Darrow looked surprised. Why? Because I think you want peace too, she said. Not just for me, for yourself. I don't belong there, he said. Not after what I've done? Ellie said nothing. She just reached into her pocket and handed him the pendant. Darrow held it gently. It pulsed in his hand. Blue light, soft and warm. You should keep it, he said. Ellie shook her head. No, it's your memory and your burden. He looked down at it, then nodded once. That night, as the ship approached New Terra's orbit, Ellie stood by the window, watching the stars shrink behind them. Her mother joined her. Do you think he means it? Ellie asked. I think he does, her mom said. But meaning isn't always enough. People fail, even when they try. Do you think he's dangerous? I think he's learning. Behind them, Darrow sat alone in the engine room, staring at the tanks one last time through a security feed. All dark, all silent, he pressed a button. The red door sealed permanently. Memory saved. Cycle ended, he whispered to himself. I won't do this again. Then he stood, walked to the control panel, and opened the side dock. The ship lowered quietly. Over the surface of New Terra, the sky was pink. The trees were silver. The air was fresh and untouched. A new beginning for all of them. New Terra looked like peace. The sky was soft pink. The wind was slow and warm. Trees with silver leaves waved gently in the breeze. It felt like a forgotten dream, quiet, simple, safe. Ellie ran across the grass barefoot, laughing for the first time in months. Her mother watched from the edge of their new home, a small round shelter with wide windows and a kitchen that smelled like hope. And Darrow. He stood far away on a hilltop, alone. He watched the horizon every day. Not because he was enjoying the view, but because he didn't trust it. He had seen too many beautiful things turn into battlefields. And deep inside, he knew something was coming. He was right. It began with a shadow, a large one. The sky darkened slightly, though there were no clouds. A shape appeared above the trees, round, silent, and black. No lights, no signal. Just silence. Darrow's eyes narrowed. His hand reached inside his coat and gripped the small device hidden there. A tracker. He opened it. It blinked red. They had found him. He ran down the hill, inside the house. Ellie and her mother were setting the table. A stew boiled softly. Steam rose, filling the air with comfort. Then the ground shook. A low vibration. Like something massive had landed nearby. Darrow burst through the door. They're here. Ellie froze. Her mom dropped the bowl. Who? She asked. Darrow didn't answer with words. He turned and opened a hidden panel near the door, revealing a small storage of weapons. He handed one to Ellie's mom. Just in case. I thought. You said this place was safe, she said. I thought wrong, he replied. Outside, the forest crackled. The trees bent unnaturally. A strange, high-pitched sound echoed through the sky. Then they appeared, the hunters, tall figures in armor. Their eyes burned red. Their suits were built for speed and silence. They carried weapons shaped like bones, pulsing with energy, and they were not alone. Behind them floated a massive drone. Scanning the ground. It stopped when it found Darrow's signal. One of the hunters stepped forward. Target confirmed. It said in a cold, robotic voice, Bring him in, alive. The girl is secondary. Darrow stepped outside. He didn't run. He didn't raise his weapon. He just stood there, facing them. I left that life, he said. I'm not part of your program anymore. Your memory proves. Otherwise, the hunter replied. You hold classified knowledge. Your failure to return is a breach of protocol. Ellie watched from behind the window. Her heart pounded. They're here for him, she whispered. But they'll take us too, her mom replied. They always do. Darrow shouted. You'll leave the girl and her mother. They are not part of this. The girl is a project, the hunter said. Version 7. We want her back. She's not a version, Darrow growled. She's real. He pulled out a sphere from his coat and slammed it to the ground. A blue shockwave blasted outward. The lead. Hunter stumbled back. Then the battle began. Darrow moved faster than Ellie had ever seen. His coat flared behind him as he ducked and rolled, shooting with perfect aim. He was graceful and brutal, like he had done this 1,000 times, and he had, but there were too many hunters surrounded the house. One fired at the roof. Fire burst into the air. Ellie screamed. Her mom pulled her to the floor. Darrow shouted, Take the back exit. Run. But Ellie didn't run. She grabbed the silver pendant around her neck and pressed the side button. A bright light shot out, a signal. The same one Darrow had shown her how to use. Help him, she whispered Dot in the field. Darrow was on his knees now. Surrounded, the hunters raised their weapons. Then something happened. The pendant's light hit. The drone, Dot, and the drone. Paused, Dot had scanned Ellie. The light from her pendant matched something in its memory. Original subject detected. It said .DARO looked up. Yes, that's her, the real one. The hunters stopped. They weren't sure what to do. Darrow stood slowly. She's not your experiment. She's proof that your files are broken. Your science failed. Then she must be destroyed. The lead hunter said. No, Darrow replied. I won't let that happen. He raised both hands and activated the old code inside him. His eyes lit up bright blue. For one final time, he became what he was built to be, a weapon. He slammed both fists into the ground. A pulse exploded outward. Trees snapped, armor cracked. The drone burst into flames. When the smoke cleared, only Darrow was standing. Barely. He fell to one knee, coughing hard. His energy was fading. His systems were burning out. Ellie ran to him. He looked up at her. Did I keep the promise? He asked. Ellie nodded, tears in her eyes. You did, he smiled for the first time. A real smile, then he collapsed. Asterisk. Smoke rose gently from the forest. The battle was over. Burnt metal and cracked armor littered the ground. The hunters were gone, some destroyed, some retreating into deep space. Their mission failed. And at the center of it all, lying still in the grass, was Darrow. His coat was torn, his hands were scorched, his eyes were closed. Ellie knelt beside him, holding his hand. Darrow, she whispered, please don't go. Not now, not after all of this. Her mother stood behind her, silent. Her face covered in ash and tears. Darrow's breathing was slow. Weak. The systems inside his body were failing. The energy cells that once made him a perfect weapon were burned out. The glow in his eyes had vanished, but his lips moved softly. I'm tired. Ellie squeezed his hand. Stay with us. You don't have to fight anymore. Darrow opened, his eyes just enough to see her. I think I finally kept the promise, he whispered. You did, she said, voice breaking. You saved us. Darrow tried to nod. Then his eyes closed again, and this time they stayed shut. The forest was silent. No wind, no birds, no sounds at all. Just grief. But then Ellie felt it warmth. Coming from the silver pendant still hanging around her neck, the earth-shaped charm pulsed gently. Not with power. With memory. She looked down and pressed the side button. A small light appeared above the pendant. It projected a soft recording, a message from Darrow. If you're hearing this, his voice said, then I'm gone, but don't be sad. I was never meant to live forever. I was made for war, but I chose peace because of you. The message continued. You showed me that I could be more, that I didn't have to repeat the past. And if you ever wonder whether you were just another version, know this, you were the one who changed everything. The recording faded, the pendant dimmed. Ellie held it close to her chest. Her mother knelt beside her and wrapped her arms around her. They stayed like that for a long time. Hours later, the survivors of New Terra gathered near the burned house, refugees from nearby zones. Other families, silent people who had seen too much and trusted too little. But today, they came together to bury Darrow. They placed his body beneath a silver tree. No coffin, just his coat, folded beside him. His pendant placed in his hands. Ellie stood before the crowd. Small but strong, she said nothing for a while. Then she spoke. Darrow was not born, he was built. But he became more than a machine. He protected us. He changed. He gave his life for peace. She held up a small notebook. It was Darrow's old journal. Inside were recipes, notes, drawings of food from Earth. He collected memories, Ellie said. He believed food could help us remember what we lost, what we used to be. She turned to the people. So let's cook together. Let's eat like humans again. That night, under the stars, the survivors built fires. They cooked using Earth's old recipes. Warm bread, stews, roasted vegetables. Even something close to tea. Ellie's mother cooked with quiet focus, passing plates to strangers. Faces softened. Eyes warmed. And laughter returned small, unsure, but real. Darrow's notebook sat in the center of the table. Open. Shared. No longer a secret. Ellie sat by the fire, watching the flames. She looked up at the stars, wondering if Darrow was still out there, somewhere. In the memories, in the code, in the quiet, then something moved in the trees. She turned, alert, but it was only a child. A boy her age. He walked up holding a plate. "Is this your recipe?" he asked. Ellie smiled. "No, it's his." The boy sat beside her. They ate together in silence. No fear. No war, no hunters. Just food. And peace. Later that night, Ellie climbed the hill where used to stand. She looked out across New Terra. She held the pendant again and whispered, "Thank you." The wind picked up, leaves danced around her feet. And for just a moment, she thought she heard Darrow's voice again, not loud. Not clear, just a whisper, "You're safe now." Ellie smiled. She walked back down the hill. Tomorrow they would plant seeds, grow real food. Start a real life. But tonight? Tonight was for memory. For healing, for promises kept, and for the quiet, powerful truth. Humanity wasn't just flesh and blood, it was choice. And someone made the right one.